Good afternoon, everyone. My father and I thank you for jumping in on Installment 5 and our Facebook Live debut of the Brown Baggin It with Dave and Ryan show today. We promise to bring you some fabulous information and make sure to have you back to your day by 12:30 at the absolute latest. Additionally, we welcome those who are watching the replay on Facebook and our YouTube channel. Why this show, you might ask? As we work our way out of the uncertainties of the pandemic, my father and I wanted to figure out a better way to stay in touch with the local Sedalia, Pettis County market. Secondly, we'd established an important goal to keep the public educated on the real estate industry and to introduce you fine folks to more in-depth to our local partners and their daily responsibilities. Today's special guest grew up in Wisconsin and later relocated to Iowa, where he graduated from high school. He spent 6 years in the Air Force and settled in Missouri after an honorable discharge in 2005. He lives in the Sedalia area with his wife and 2 boys. He's a state certified residential real estate appraiser and has 15 years of experience in his profession. As far as designations, he holds the ASA Senior Accredited Appraiser and the IFA Residential Appraiser Specialist designations, and those are both with the American Society of Appraisers. And in addition, we've gotten to know him very well as he's been a guest lecturer on real estate appraisal principles through our local West Central Association of Realtors. We look forward to hearing from Shane Weber in just a few minutes. As far as our layout for today, this is how it's going to look. My dad will jump in talking a little bit on real estate today. He'll bring in some more details on local stats as they've been changing very drastically here and there with the pandemic. And then following that, we're going to piggyback our June 11th theme of prepping your home to sell. And Dave will move from the exterior suggestions into the interior suggestions that homeowners may elect to take on when prepping their home for sale. Then we'll jump over to Shane, and he will walk you through the ins and outs of how he establishes a value on real estate. Then that leads us into opportunity for you guys, the viewers, to jump in and ask questions. This will be the last 15 minutes or so to answer your burning questions. What we'll do is we'll have you voice your questions in the comment portion at any time during the broadcast. I'll be monitoring these feedback, and my father or Shane will answer them at this period of time. If there's a question that we don't know the answer to, or else it's going to take an extended period to answer, what we'll do is we will private message you individually, and we'll get it replied as soon as possible. With all that in mind, we definitely, again, thank you for tuning in with us today, and I'm going to go ahead and pass the mic on to my dad, who'll cover some real estate ideas.
Thank you, Ryan. I'm not going to spend a great amount of time on statistics this week, but to say the total housing inventory in the West Central Association of Realtors, MLS, for Pettis County continues to drop to record low numbers. Yesterday, there was only 198 residential properties for sale, and 76 of those were on contract, leaving only 122 homes for sale in Pettis County. That means that homes for sale that are priced fairly and properly prepared for market will certainly get an offer in short order, maybe more than one. These numbers bring me to an idea I have been mentioning to homeowners that I have been talking with. This idea is, if you have given any consideration to selling your home in the reasonably near future, and they have a plan for what to do after their home is sold, they might want to consider moving their plan up by putting their home on the market now to take advantage of this strong seller's market. One other item I'd like to mention in making this decision is that we are currently enjoying record low home mortgage interest rates, and it's a great opportunity to lock in a low long-term rate. I would caution, do not do this unless you have a plan for what you're going to do if your home should sell quickly. Ryan and I would be happy to discuss options with you at any time with no obligation. Now, I would like to continue the theme that we started in our last webinar, talking about making a great first impression when you have your home for sale. We discussed making sure that buyers approaching your home have a positive impression at the front door. Today, I'm going to talk about what the home seller can do to continue that favorable impression once the potential buyer has entered your home. There is an old 3-word adage that pretty well covers the first and most important things you can do to present your home. The adage is declutter and depersonalize. In my many years of experience listing homes for sale, I have discovered this is one of the most difficult things to get home sellers to do. The first word, declutter, means exactly what it says. It means to get rid of the excess stuff you have sitting around. That means the stack of papers by the hubby's favorite chair, any extra chairs or end tables sitting around, extra furniture in a room that makes the room seem smaller, cleaning out closets of excess clothes, blankets, etc. In the kitchen, get all the unnecessary items off the kitchen cabinet and the inside of the cabinets. Yes, serious buyers will likely open your cabinets to see what the shelf system looks like and the quality of the cabinets. All this decluttering may require having a major garage sale, giving items to charity, renting a dumpster, or renting a storage unit. It will give you a jump start on your moving adventure. You're going to have to move it anyway. The suggestions for depersonalizing are one of the toughest things a real estate professional must do when we help to prepare a home for selling. Sellers frequently take it very personal when we suggest that they remove almost all their family photos from the walls, tables, dressers, etc. I normally explain that their family photo, I normally explain that when a realtor is showing your home, they want the prospective buyer looking at the home, not the family photos, trying to realize who they know in the photos. Also, if there are many wall hangings, buyers are often concerned that the home might be delivered to them with a lot of unfilled holes in the walls. So after taking down the photos, it is important to fill the nail holes and touch up the paint or repaint the wall. Speaking of paint, it is important to depersonalize the walls by repainting any rooms, such as children's rooms, that may have bright or unique colors on the walls. One more thing, if you're wild game hunting, if you have wild game hunting trophies on the walls or on display, they should be removed prior to the home going on the market. Many people are offended by these trophies. Not everyone is a hunter. One last thing, don't forget to declutter the basement and garage. With these things done, your home should sell quickly, and probably one of the people the new buyer is going to be arranging to view your home is a residential appraiser who will determine that your property is being sold at a fair market value. And to talk about this subject, it is my pleasure to turn the program over to Shane Weber from Missouri Property Appraisers. Shane, it's all yours.
Thanks, Dave. Those are definitely some good tips. We go into a lot of houses that there is a lot of clutter. and it can impact the marketability of that house for sure. Just want to talk about what to expect, from the appraisal. A lot of people have never had an appraisal done on their house, so they're just not sure what to expect. If it's for a purchase, we'll get the order directly from the lender. We'll likely contact the listing agent for access to the house. If it's a refinance, we'll call the homeowner and set up a good time to come and take a look at it. When we get there, we're probably going to start on the outside. We're going to look on the exterior of the home. We're going to measure the home. We're going to look at other features on the property, garages, outbuildings, sheds, see what kind of amenities they have, if it's all fenced. If it's a rural property, there could be a lot of additional features that we need to be aware of, ponds and lakes. Once we complete the exterior, we're also looking for the condition of the siding material, the condition of the roof. We're not gonna get up on the roof like a home inspector would, but we're gonna visually observe it from the ground and see if we can see any obvious damage. Once we're done, we'll go inside. We will be taking pictures of the interior. That surprises a lot of people when I tell them we're taking pictures. They don't want pictures, but we're gonna take pictures of pretty much every room: bedrooms, bathrooms, living areas, probably not closets, but we're gonna view the closets. What we're doing is we're looking for quality items to determine the quality of the construction. We're looking at the condition of the home. We're looking at any updating or remodeling that's been done. We're also looking for any safety concerns, especially if it's a government financed loan like a FHA or an RD. We're looking for some safety items, such as broken windows, any items that could present a safety concern. And we're noting the number of bedrooms, number of bathrooms, and a lot of people think that this site inspection is the appraisal. Honestly, this is the smallest part of the appraisal. All we're doing at the house is we're trying to get an idea on what you've got. We're gathering data on the property itself. From there, we'll take all that to our office. We're gonna analyze market trends in that neighborhood, determine if values are stable, if they're increasing, if they're decreasing. We're going to look for comparable properties. When I say comparable properties, we're looking for homes that have sold that are comparable to your property, such as style, age, condition, obviously location. Location is probably number one. Obviously, we're not going to find homes that are identical, unless you're in a newer subdivision where it's all tract housing and everything is almost identical. But we're going to find the most comparable properties that we can that have sold. From there, we're going to analyze the differences between the comparable sales and the house that we're appraising, and we'll make dollar adjustments for those differences. Once we make all those adjustments, we'll determine a value based on those adjusted values of those comparable sales. That's a pretty brief summary of the appraisal process. During these busy times, it may be up to a week after we actually look at your house before we're done with the appraisal and send it off. We'll send that completed appraisal report directly to our client, who is most likely the lender. A lot of borrowers, a lot of homeowners ask us if we'll give them the appraisal. We don't. We can't. We can only discuss the results of our appraisal with our client, who is the lender. So don't think that the appraiser is being rude and not calling you back. The fact is, we can't discuss it with anybody except for the lender. Is that pretty clear on that process? I think you guys are still muted.
Okay. Unmuted.
Okay. Yeah, that's pretty clear on that. There's a couple of things what I usually do is I have the opportunity to watch people presenting. It raises questions for me. one on quickly. Has the coronavirus pandemic, has it caused any changes in the appraisal process?
Good question. That's definitely a current issue today, and likely will be for a little while. Fannie Mae and VA have both provided some leniency on interior inspections during this pandemic. If for some reason the appraiser doesn't feel comfortable going inside the home, maybe somebody in the home has tested positive for COVID, they've allowed us to do an enhanced exterior, which basically we're going to get information from the homeowner sent to us. We won't enter the dwelling. We'll just look at the outside, get information on the interior, and use whatever data we can get. Just to expand on that, as far as the market impact, and I think you'll probably agree, at least in this area, I'm not sure I've seen a significant impact from COVID here. You know, properties are still moving, people are still refinancing. You know, I've had very few instances where I wasn't able to view the home due to a COVID situation.
We've hit a handful of sellers that have been hesitant, but you're definitely correct that for the most part, people have been, they might have been protected with gear they've been wearing during showings, but beyond that, we had a little bit of a hiccup, but it wasn't more than probably 3 weeks. And
you know, and I think some people, even without a pandemic, they're not comfortable with somebody walking through their house, touching everything. So if you do have any reservations on that, prior to the appraiser coming, open up all your doors, turn all your lights on, you know, so we can literally walk through, don't have to open doors, don't have to flip light switches. We really won't have to touch anything. You know, and that's probably not a bad practice, even when we're not in the middle of a pandemic. Something to think about, you know, just have everything opened up. That includes closet doors. You know, I'll ask homeowners to open everything up, and that seems like they only think that means bedroom doors, but that would be closet doors, basement doors, open everything up so we don't have to touch anything.
absolutely.
Shane, you mentioned that appraisals that involve government guaranteed loans, such as the VA, FHA, real development loans, you're checking for a few different things. And could you expand just a little on maybe what are the big things and what is the most common things you run into that are problems?
Okay. So FHA, for example, they actually have very few specific requirements. A couple of their specific requirements are, you know, on your water heater, there's supposed to be a discharge tube from that pressure release valve. That discharge tube should go within 6 inches of the floor. Seems like word has gotten out on that, and I haven't seen many without it lately. Other things are broken windows. You know, cracked windows, if it's just cracked, they're okay with that. But if it's broken where you could cut yourself or a child could cut themselves, that's going to have to be replaced, repaired. The pane's got to be repaired. Steps without handrails could be an issue. It's not a guaranteed thing. You know, depending on the situation, that could be a safety concern. Not all steps need to have handrails. It's going to be on a case-by-case basis. If it looks like a safety concern, it's probably going to be called out. You know, site hazards, fall hazards outside, fall hazards off of a deck. You know, if you have a deck, it needs to have a safety railing around it. You know, we're not looking at child-proofing a house, but you know, if you wouldn't let your toddler run around the house because of some safety concern, that could potentially be something that we're going to look at. There's various things. I really can't list them all, but those are some specific FHA requirements that are specified in their handbook. You know, the water heater discharge tube, broken windows, steps without handrails. GFCIs, you know, that's an issue. You know, appraisers are not code enforcers. But if there is an item of safety concern, we may revert to code to see how it should be remedied. GFCIs within arm's reach of a sink or a faucet or a water source is definitely a good idea. And I don't know that every appraiser will require that, but a large number of us do. And VA is very similar. VA, RD, FHA, quite similar.
Okay, one other, I've got a couple here. I think we've got a couple minutes yet. How long is an appraisal considered effective, or what is its life from the time that you complete it? How long for the profession, how long is it considered an effective appraisal?
You know, there's no specific rule on that. A lot of that's going to fall under some lending guidelines. I think a rule of thumb is 6 months. You know, but if you have a volatile market, you know, an appraisal could be good for maybe a month. But I think most lenders consider 6 months to be how long an appraisal would be valid. After that, they can request an update on the appraisal, which is it's not a new appraisal; it's an update on that existing appraisal. Well, we'll go view the property, typically just from the exterior. Look for any newer comparable sales that have sold since we did that appraisal, and just see if there's any better data out there. You know, so that's one way they can update an older appraisal without the full cost of getting a new appraisal.
Kind of along the same line, something that we hear sometimes as realtors, they will ask us, so why does the appraisal frequently come in at the contract price? Is that just a coincidence?
That's a good question, and I do hear that a lot. You know, honestly, in an efficient market where buyers and sellers are both informed of the market, the appraisal should come back very close to contract price. You know, if appraisals are consistently coming in 15-20% over contract price, you know, say $10,000-$20,000 over, there's a problem there. You know what? There's a lot of money being left on the table there, and if it really is worth 20 or 30,000 over contract price, you know, why weren't there competing offers? Why weren't there higher offers? You know, now there are times where you know, a seller may take a lower offer due to the simplicity of that contract. You know, maybe the higher offers are government loans and they don't want to deal with that. Maybe the lower offer is a cash offer. You know, there's something to be said for that. But you know, appraisals, you know, it's very common for them to come back at or very, very near contract, and that's really a sign of an efficient market. You know, when you expose a property to the market, and several people are looking at it, you know, that is the market. So what they come up with on offers should be pretty indicative of market value. So unless it's a non-arm's length transaction or a motivated seller, the appraisal is likely to come back close to the contract price.
Well, this sounds like all good information that we certainly appreciate you sharing with us, Shane. I'd say it looks like we've got predominant questions answered from Facebook. And what I was going to do here, let's going to pass along. I definitely thank you for your time, Shane, and jumping in with us today. And I know your time is definitely very valuable and often one place or another. So dodging that to come in and visit's a honor for us to have you here. We thank each and every one of the people out on Facebook and viewing this later for their decision to join us. And this is Shane and ours information should you run into further questions down the road, or if we can serve you in any way. And we remind everybody, if you desire to view the replay of the recording or any of our prior 4 installments of our show, please visit our YouTube channel at Dave and Ryan, Remax of Sedalia. And while there, be sure and subscribe to the channel, and you'll get future alerts for these valuable videos. And as a reminder, Dave and Ryan Brown Bagging will continue on our 2-week basis. We'll be back July 9th, and we'll be having in the office with us Ron Job of Sun Equity Pest Management, and he'll present to us services that they offer, and in particular with our business, how he conducts a termite inspection. So make a note on your calendar for that. And we will continue these on Facebook Live. And as far as access, you can watch for these invites through my Father or I's page or our Facebook business page. So definitely hoping this information has been worthwhile for everybody. And we thank you and hope you have a fabulous afternoon.
Thanks, guys.